suffer from mental illnesses. Ms. Chamberlain's counseling has helped me tremendously. I reflected a great deal in order to place myself in Kellie and her family's frame of mind, and I am beyond deeply remorseful for the pain that my actions have caused them. Kellie, Sean, and your kids, I am truly sorry for the harm that my actions have caused. I never intended for the situation to get so out of control, but it did, and I do accept full responsibility for it. I've used every resource available to me to get mental and spiritual counseling in the hope that I could find a way to forgive myself. But even more, I pray each day that by some miracle of God in the future, your family can forgive me for my ugliest, heinous, hateful acts. But I do realize that I should have addressed these mental health issues sooner, and had I done so, these unfortunate circumstances totally within my control would not have occurred. If I could go back to the future, if I had a time machine, I would go back in time and this obviously would have never happened. But I can't. I can only move forward and prove that I'm not the monster portrayed in this child. I totally underestimated the extent of my mental health issues and the impact that they would cause on those around me. Although I have in the past started counseling and was seeing progress, I allowed my emotions to get to the better of me and became caught up in a situation that soon spiraled out of control. I do not ever again want to be in this position where my mental issues could cause another person harm. And I am willing to work while in confinement if deemed necessary, and after my release on my mental health issues with total commitment to become healthy. I am not any longer a threat to Kellie Cooke or her family with proper counseling and proper medication. If I were a threat, it no longer exists. I can be a productive citizen once again. My life, even without prison, will never be the same. The slings and arrows of adverse national publicity have seen that. I must live with the stigma that I created, and I apologize to my husband Brand and to my own family for the hardships that they have endured and will endure because of my actions. While the jury was told not to consider mercy, I hope that the court can consider it. I do humbly request that this honorable court to carefully weigh and consider Dr. Baum's report and the letter to you from Connie Chamberlain. They agree, and I fear that I will not receive proper mental health treatment while in prison. Thank you.
Well, the court has considered the record, the oral statement, the victim impact statement, pre-sentence report, as well as the principles and purposes of sentencing under RC Revised Code Section 292911. The court has balanced the seriousness and recidivism factors under RC 292912. It finds that the presumption of prison has not been overcome by the defendant. In large part, much of the defense has been based upon the mental health condition, which is a term that's been used continuously throughout this proceeding. And the mental health condition of the defendant is based upon the report of Dr. Brahms, which the court obviously has reviewed several times, both before trial as well as during trial and after trial. And there's parts of the report that this court finds more telling than other parts, but one part that wasn't brought out extensively at the trial was the fact that in an administrative test, on page 13 of the report, Ms. Lambert was administered a personality assessment inventory, or PAI. This is a 344-item self-administered supervised test of psychological and interpersonal functioning, and is well accepted for its evaluations. And the results of that test, Ms. Lambert, were that she couldn't rely on them because she didn't find you credible. She shot that you were exaggerating. She says, test results indicate that Ms. Lambert's test-taking approach was atypical, and as a result may exaggerate, invalidate clinical scale interpretations. Simply stated, she presented as likely either being incredibly psychiatrically fragile and or presenting herself in a manner that would indicate psychiatric disturbance, which may be exaggerated. Thus, her test results need to be very carefully interpreted and are likely invalid. That's your own profession. To me, it says you're trying to put a scam on her. You know, I think you just tried to be pulled from the jury in this county and it didn't work. You know, you go back to this report and this whole thing, you say out of control. Well, your past indicates to me that you've been out of control since the 8th grade. Now, I know she took a shot with Dr. Barnes, your mother, in terms of her roots. And as a result of that, you're going to prison. I mean, the order court, Ms. Lambert, you know, keep in mind as well, because this is found in the first degree, it's the most serious offense short of murder in the state of Ohio. And honestly, the only thing standing between you and conviction for the same is the fact that you were dealing with an undercover officer as opposed to a true professional hitman. And I do think that Detective Emmerich, Pickaway County Sheriff's Office, did an excellent job in the way they handled this matter from the get-go. There was no entrapment. I sat through and listened to that. The jury didn't buy it. They were out less than an hour. So,
I tried not to go.
well, you tried not to go, but you were there. Nobody forced you, ma'am.
I had thousands of dollars and I showed up with $100.
Well, I heard all that. The jury heard it all. They didn't buy it. So, be the order of court. Once you serve your prison sentence, you are subject to mandatory post-release control for 5 years. That's similar to what we used to call parole in Ohio. Meaning you will be under the supervision of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections during that 5-year period. There will be rules and regulations concerning your conduct. You'll have a parole officer monitoring your conduct. If you violate the rules and regulations and don't do what they tell you to do and go where they tell you to go and do what they tell you to do, then you're going to be going back to prison for each violation for 9 months. Total violations can equal 1/2 the original sentence I gave you here this morning, unless one of the violations is a new felony conviction. If you were to be convicted of a new felony following that 5-year period post-release control, you could be made a term of prison under this case to serve the greater of 1 year or time remaining in post-release control, which could be up to 5 years. And by law, that has to be served consecutive. That means back-to-back with any sentence you receive because of that new felony conviction while in post-release control. Do you understand post-release control? There's also the right, I'm sure Mr. King will explain to you, you have to appeal your conviction in this case. Any appeal you wish to take, a notice of appeal has to be filed within 30 days from the date of this sentence. Be the order of court, Ms. Lambert, for this offense that you stand committed to Marysville Reformatory for Women for a period of 7 years. Pay the court costs for which execution is hereby awarded. You also pay a fine of $10,000. If any appeal is filed, the court this time will set an appeal bond of $500,000 plus a recognizance bond with the condition you stay away from the victims and you wear an ankle monitor. You'll be credited any time served in the county jail with respect to this offense. All right.